All right. What's up, guys? How are you? Damn it. This is not the orientation that I wanted. I wanted the portrait orientation, not this. I didn't want the vertical orientation. Damn it. How are you? How are you? Welcome to Bereket Live. How's it going? 2 p.m. here in Las Vegas, Nevada. 5 p.m. in the East Coast, New York. This was not the orientation I wanted. Welcome in. How's it going, guys? Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mberiket Live. Today's title, Made in Nigeria, is not a value proposition. Made in Nigeria is not a value proposition. On the topic of value, I am not leaving today until value is delivered. I am not leaving you today until value is delivered. How's everyone doing? Let me know where you are watching from. Post in the chat window. My apologies. I did not want to have a vertical orientation. I wanted it to be an horizontal orientation. I thought I had it all set up, but I didn't, obviously. Did you guys watch the Super Bowl? Team win. I am team agnostic. I don't US football team back in the day. I was really into the Indianapolis Colts and the Dallas Cowboys. But I felt that the best team won. I felt that Seattle Seahawks played a very good game. Welcome, welcome. I felt the Seattle Seahawks deserved the championship. It was a very boring game, though. I was looking for more, especially at the Super Bowl level. You want more competition, and I just did not see that. I mean, the first, 2 or 3 quarters was all um, field goals. But anyway, that aside, did you enjoy the Super Bowl commercials? Which one was your favorite one? There's a lot of AI. It was very AI. I enjoyed a lot of the commercials. Did you? But anyway, so let's go ahead and dive into it. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. This session is for exporters, importers. If you are based abroad and you are looking at importing Nigerian goods into wherever you live, whether it's the US, UK, Asia, wherever, and this is for you. This session is for you. If you are also back home and you are part of this Nigerian local content movement, that's what the government is calling it right now in Nigeria. They're calling it local content, meaning the invention, development of Nigerian-made products for a broader mass market, global market. That's the movement right now in Nigeria. It's called local content. I know in my state, Akwa Ibom State, that's what it's called. So there is that movement going on right now, and there's this national advocacy right now for made in Nigeria products. Nothing wrong with it. But when we are talking about a global level, folks, made in Nigeria narrative is not a value proposition. CJ, welcome in. I saw Bad Bunny. I wasn't really too impressed by the halftime show. My daughters loved the music. They danced to Bad Bunny the entire time. They loved it. I didn't understand it. That was actually my first time listening to Bad Bunny. I don't know his music. I've seen headlines of him online. I've seen headlines of him across social media. But honestly, if you were to play a Spanish music or Puerto Rican music right now and say, oh, that's Bad Bunny, I wouldn't know. I don't know his music. Kate, my wife, she doesn't know the music. We enjoy a little bit, but it did not blow me away like the Kendrick Lamar Super Bowl halftime show last year. And then the year before, what Usher did, those blew me away. Those were water cooler conversations. You go to work the following day and you talk about it. The Bad Bunny halftime show, to me, is forgettable. To me, I'm not calling people up and saying, hey, did you see Bad Bunny? You got to go watch that halftime show. And you can actually tell the sentiment too. Even the US media, it's kind of like it didn't feel as if yesterday was Super Bowl. My kids are home because my wife is off today from school. So school is off in Nevada as well. I woke up the next day, my phone didn't ring. None of my friends called me to say, how did you like the game? It was just very, it was kind of, that was what I took out of the Super Bowl. It just didn't blow me. And this had nothing to do with Donald Trump. It also had nothing to do with Bad Bunny. Super Bowl just didn't blow me away. Did it blow you away? No problem. You can play back the video. So if you're watching for the first time, my name is Rich Mberiket. I'm a Nigerian-born US-based entrepreneur. You can check out my website at mberiket.com. Enterprise US Nigeria markets. That's what I cover. I also own a brand, Mberiket brand. We sell Nigerian products on Amazon and Walmart. We are getting away from that whole Niger thing though, and I'm going to explain to you. So you're going to notice, guys, that I do a lot of comparisons between Nigeria and the US a lot, between Nigeria and the Western world a lot. Now you're going to ask, why do you do that? Nigeria and the United States are not on the same level across all spectrum. We get that. But I got to measure Niger to somebody. I may as well measure Nigeria to the United States, a market that I know very, very well. I can't measure up Nigeria with Benin Republic, Cameroon, Niger. I'm talking about our neighboring countries now, Burkina Faso. I can't measure even South Africa, who has the largest GDP in the African continent. South Africa has in USD 440 something billion dollars a year is South Africa's GDP output. Nigeria is 285. Even with that said, I can't measure Nigeria up to South Africa because to a degree, it will not be mates. So you're going to see a lot of that cross-pollination Nigeria US in my content. I got to set Nigeria, I got to raise the bar for Nigeria in my own way. So you're going to see a lot of that. Measuring up Nigeria, comparing Nigeria to the US, comparing Nigeria to the West, to the East China, because we borrow a lot of money from China, we depend on China and all that stuff. I can't compare Nigeria to any other African nation. And also, if we're striving to be the best in the world, we need to start leveling up to the best in the world. If we want to become serious about being a country that people take seriously, we have to start benchmarking our country against other serious countries like the United States of America, Canada, which is one of the friendliest places in the world. We have to benchmark ourselves to those countries. I don't know how to measure Niger to Rwanda. I can't do it. Even if you force me to, I can't. CJ, I will get to you. Basketball. Me, I don't do Super Bowl. I'm more of a soccer. Okay. I can't do it. Yeah. So you're going to see a lot of that going on. Favorite kind of soup. Ma'am, what am I doing here? Get out of my screen, this thing. Oh. Let me just put something there. Okay, I don't answer now. I'm done. Start Q&A. So where are you guys watching from? There's a screen on top of my thing right now that I'm trying to get rid of. So invite everybody that's an importer, exporter. Bring them onto the show. Let us go. Now, the title of today's session, Made in Nigeria is not a value proposition. And I know CJ disagrees in a way, but I'm going to explain to you why. It's not a value proposition. But first of all, ladies and gentlemen, let us define what value proposition means. What is value proposition? When you hear the word value, what does it mean to you? You see, to me, in its simplicity, it means the reason that people choose to buy a product or a service and the outcome expected of that product and service. You see, me, I'm not a pastor. I'm not a pastor, but I would dictate to you how I'm going to break down. I'm not a motivational speaker, but I'm going to talk to you as if, because majority of you are churchgoers. So is the expected outcome when I don't have my wallet. When you take out that credit card out of your wallet to purchase a product or a service from somebody, and the expected outcome. Do you know why money is important and why people should respect money? Because nothing in the world is free. So that is value proposition, the expected outcome when you buy a product or a service. That expected outcome is the value proposition of that brand to you. I will give you an example. I'll use the United States as an example. What is the value proposition of the United States for those who want to immigrate to the US? And I'm going to get to you, Canada, in a second. The value proposition of the United States for migrants and its citizens and its residents is, or are, among other things, this is the place you come to make your dreams come true. So long as you abide by the law of the land and you put your nose down and you work hard and you educate yourself, the sky is the limit in the United States. My daughter went to a program, an aeronautics program. My little 7-year-old, though, NASA Aeronautics. They took a picture of Jeanette wearing a space suit and they made an ID card out of that space suit with Jeanette Mbariket, astronaut. She's so beautiful in that picture. If she go, I send her to go and get that picture. I believe it. I believe that Jeanette, only in America can Jeanette be a NASA astronaut or a SpaceX astronaut. Only in America. You see, guys, that is the value proposition. It's the expected outcome. You know it's going to happen if she applies herself. The streets are not paved with gold in the US, but the American dream is alive and well. The big white house with the white picket outcome of migrants who come to the United States. That is America's value proposition to the world. Bring your minds to the United States, contribute to the United States society, and you can have anything that you dream. Only in America do they say you can become anything that you set your mind to. Only in America. That is America's value proposition, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, as an example, what is the value proposition of Canada? It's one of the safest and one of the friendliest nations on earth. That is the Canadian value proposition. Why do you think people go to Canada? Why aren't people migrating to Afghanistan or Somalia? Because they know the expected outcome. You see, those guys, there's no value proposition. Made in Nigeria, origin label, it is not a value proposition. Now that I've explained to you in a nutshell, so I've given you an example of a nation. Let me give you an example of, let's say, another country, made in Italy. The expected outcome is if I purchase a brand new pair of leather Oxfords that are made in Italy, I can almost guarantee the expected outcome is that that could potentially become a family heirloom. If I had a son, I can wear that made in Italy leather Oxfords and pass it on to my child. It's not a product anymore. Italian products are heirlooms. That is Italy's value proposition to the world. I'm not a watch guy. Another example, Switzerland is known for their Swiss watches. If you want some of the best wristwatches on earth are crafted in Switzerland. That is their value proposition to the world. There's that expected outcome that when you buy a Swiss watch, it's going to last you a generation, if not 2 generations. A generation is 20 years. Germany's value proposition is what? Precision engineering. That is why car makers like Innoson and Nord of Nigeria are just assembly plants to me. There is no value proposition that will make me today go and drive an Innoson vehicle. Let me tell you what value proposition is not. It is not diaspora loyalty. Value proposition is not diaspora sentiment. A value proposition is, let me go and buy Innocent car because it's a Nigerian indigenous company. That is not a value proposition to me. That is madness. Precision German engineering. The expected outcome when you buy a Mercedes Benz, it will last you for the rest of your life if you take care of it. It is sound, precision engineering. It's what Germans are known for. That is their value proposition. When you get into a Toyota, Toyota's value proposition is it's affordable, it lasts longer. Why do you think Nigerians are Toyota heads? If Toyota land for Nigeria today, it's selling out that same day because of the value proposition of Toyota. Same thing goes for Hondas. Honda is not a car company. Honda is an engine company that just happens to make cars. So their value proposition, Japan's value proposition to the world is the engineering in the engines. When you see Honda, you know that expected outcome that you are expecting. Oh boy, this one are quality. America has more value propositions to what I mentioned. Compliance is one of them. Compliance. US is a highly regulated country. They don't mess around with compliance. They don't play. UK, industry of the United Kingdom, they are the first industrialized. When you're talking about the UK sector, highly industrialized. They know that is the value proposition of UK. That is the expected outcome you want. You go to Taiwan, semiconductor. The world buys semiconductor chips from Taiwan. We talk about China. They have the manufacturing capacity. That is their value proposition. It's getting a product. You see, this one not be value proposition. Made in Nigeria is not a value proposition because we don't have systems tied to Nigeria. The leaders of our country are talking about we got to make made in Nigeria products. Okay, invent one now. Invent, in order for you to penetrate the global market, you have to have an offer. What is Nigeria's offer to the world besides crude oil? This one a non-oil podcast. We are not talking about crude oil. We are talking about non-oil sector. What is Nigeria's offer to the world? Where else does Nigeria have domain expertise that the world can buy? Is it talent we don't have? Software development we don't have. Making applications, building apps doesn't make you a software developer because one, you don't own the tech stack for those applications. Do you know the nation that leads the world in software developers? China leads the world in software developers. There are more software developers in China today than anywhere else in the world. The same China that Nigeria, they beg, they borrow money from. Why are we not linking up with them to build Nigeria's version of Chinese software developers? 50% of the global AI researchers are all in China. That is China's value proposition to the world. I have to remove this thing now. I don't want this thing that just popped in my. I've answered it. Labeling made in Nigeria is essentially an origin label. It does not mean anything. If you are an entrepreneur right now living abroad, you are considering doing some sort of business in Nigeria, maybe manufacturing a product in Nigeria that you want to import to the US and sell to the world. If you are hedging your business on the fact that the product is immediately Unfortunately, today, I want to course correct because you are approaching it the wrong way. Customers are not going to buy your product because they are made in Nigeria. They are going to buy your product if an expected outcome is tied to that product, which Nigeria doesn't have. So we should not be selling made in Nigeria stuff as a value proposition because it is not. In order for you to have an offer, you must first and foremost invent that offer, invent that product. Then you got to create systems to take that product to the global marketplace. And in some cases, you have to invent the market and then educate that market on your product. Nigeria never starts. Nigeria never starts. Where is Nigeria's offer today? CJ asked me yesterday, okay, Rich, what are you proposing? Let's look locally first, since this whole local content is moving on right now in Nigeria. Active Dodger, welcome. Active Dodger said any product can have a value proposition. Indeed, Nigerian products may not have a globally geared value proposition, but it locally meets expectations. Okay, let me ask you. Name one product in Nigeria that has a value proposition that you can tie an outcome to. I'm not putting you on the spot, Active. Let me give you a product example in the US. You guys saw the commercial yesterday. I was thinking about it when I watched the commercial. Lay's potatoes. Lays. Lay's potatoes. Remember, in the US, there are hundreds of thousands of potato chips companies in the United States. But we got to pick one. When it comes to potato chips, it's Lay's. When it comes to chocolate, it's Hershey's, Mars. The potato that Lay's uses to make potato chips are sourced from. Guess what Idaho's value, the state of Idaho's value proposition is to the United States? Is Idaho potatoes. Best in class in potatoes. Idaho. Name one product in one state in Nigeria that is the best in class in that particular product. I'm not saying two, I'm saying Kellogg, the cereal brand, is its raisins from California. Majority of the ingredients that are used in breakfast products that we eat are mostly sourced in the United States because each state is probably known for something that they are best in class at. Yesterday, I told you guys, Florida is known for their oranges. Idaho is known for their potatoes. California is known for their raisins. Let's cross over and go international. Brazil is known for their meats. Brazil is not known for soccer because you cannot commoditize soccer. You can commoditize meats. Brazil produces, processes, and exports more meats, beef, poultry than any other country on earth. Ukraine is known for their sunflower oil. Russia is known for their Grains. Canada is best in class for their Canadian maple syrup. The United States is known for our soybeans that's used to make vegetable oil, canola oil. Mexico is known for their Mexican avocados. What is Nigeria known for? I am not bashing Nigeria. It's time for us to sit down as a nation and start having these uncomfortable conversations. So it's not just about slapping made in Nigeria on something. Where is the systems to take that product to market? We don't have that. Country of origin labels alone isn't going to get the job done. You listen, all of you Nigerians abroad are you are trying to bring something from Nigeria to sell abroad, and your number one customer is the local Mama Nkechi in Kim store, local Nigerian store. You're not going to make more than $10,000 a year. You can't scale that now. Does Mama Nkem's Nigerian store, do they have a chain? They don't have a chain. It's just one Mama Nkem store in Vegas. You are hedging your business on made in Nigerian products for you to then sell to Nigerians only. That's your market. You can't scale. You might be able to make a little bit of money to pay your bills, but selling to local Nigerian provision store, let me tell you something. I advise brand owners against that. If you want to kill your business, put it in a Nigerian store. You are better off selling on Amazon and Walmart than for you to carry your product and go and put them inside the Nigerian provision store in America or Canada. You can't scale because those guys don't have the buying power. They only have one store, and that store is it. You can't scale it. It is not a value proposition just to have somebody or something say made in Nigeria. Now, let me get to some of this before I get buried. Let me cover some of these charts. Eventually, I think it will get there with systematic restructuring. Okay, active dodger. When? Today, I saw on the headlines, President Bola Tinubu said, Nigerians, we will overcome the insurgency. When? I know how, because now Nigeria has just recently started partnering with the US for technology and for military assistance. But Nigerians want to know when now, Mr. President Bola Tinubu. I'm not trying to politicize this, but I'm just asking you, CJ, since you brought up eventually. When now? Is it when I'm dead? What is Nigeria best in class at? Let me give you an idea. CJ, you are relatively quiet today. Maybe because you are listening to me. Let me tell you what I have in mind. Today, Nigeria today in its current state is the largest cultivator and producer of yam tubers in the world. Why don't we have Nigerian yam chips like they have potato chips in America? It's because we don't have the systems in place to take our yam products to market. Oh, man. Why don't somebody explain to me how a country can be the number one producer of yams in the world and that country doesn't have yam chips? I'm not talking about computation. I'm not talking about computing chips. See, that one at next level for Nigeria. So chips one at the chop. How many Nigerian brands do you know, ladies and gentlemen, men, besides Dangote? Don't tell me banks. I'm not interested in banks. I'm not interested. CPG, consumer brands. How many does Nigeria have today? Within Nigeria, not just international, within Nigeria there, how many does Nigeria have? You get my drift? I've always said this, and I used to say this in the past. Nigeria is one of the places where Nigerian products they don't have a place to go. Because the systems are not in place to be able to take our products to the global marketplace. And it does not end there. When you get to the global market space, you still have to compete with the global markets. When buyers are sitting in buyers' meetings talking about products that they are going to carry for the next season, and the fresh produce buyer is their time to speak, and they're responsible for stocking avocados. Are they going to think of Nigeria? Or are they going to think of Mexico that has best in class in avocados? And not just that. It has to be easy and seamless for them to get in that market, buy their products. Nigeria that has the capacity to produce the best yams. You've heard of Benue yams. Most of the yams Nigerians eat comes from Benue State. What do you think is happening in Benue State right now with the unrest in Benue State? Capital, you think Capital is going to go there? No, they're probably going to go and source yams from, let's say, somebody in Mexico. Go to your local Mexican. Have you tried Mexican yams? They might even go to Ghana and buy their small carrot-sized Ghana yams before they go to Nigeria. And you are pushing made in Nigeria without systems to back it. And we don't have domain expertise in anything. I'm saying this because I want Nigeria to wake up and smell the roses. There's got to be outcomes tied to our products. There's just got to be expected. And it's not something you wake up overnight and do either. CJ said it yesterday. Rich, Rome wasn't built in a day. I know Rome was not built in a day. The Romans probably sat down in 200 AD and they envisioned the future that they wanted for Rome. And then they started living that future in the present. The Romans. I've often said that Nigerians lack imagination. We cannot think back within I go chop today. Talking about identity. Remember, for almost 40 years, 419 was tied to, that was our identity. For almost 40 years. It's just recently that we've been washing off the 419 stain. When you tell somebody you're from Nigeria, the first thing they think about is, oh boy, this one a scammer. Do you think that was built in a day? That was not built in a day. It generated over time unchecked. I was at a farmer's market yesterday. No, not yesterday. Yesterday was Super Bowl. Thursday. And the guy asked, where are you from? I said, I'm Nigerian. White guy. The first thing he said, there's Nigeria is going to a lot of problems right now. Do you know my response to him? I said, well, sir, the world is going through a lot of problems right now. But that was the first thing out of his mind. But had I told him, I'm from Dubai, or I'm from Italy, his response would have been, man, I can't wait to go. I've been dying to go. Expected outcome when you open your mouth. How the world perceives Nigeria. Saying you want to just penetrate the global market space because you have a paper that says made in Nigeria is it's nonsense. And for brand owners out there, the diaspora demographic is very, very limited. You are not going to be $1 million brand if you are only targeting the Nigerian diaspora. Your brand has to be able to cross over to a mass market. So, my advice to you, focus less on pushing made in Nigeria products. Obviously, you have to create the offer first, but then you got to have the systems behind your offer to be able to take your offer to the world. That offer might originate from Nigeria, but you are not going to get far just hiding behind or hedging the success of your business on a country of origin label. And our leaders as well should be doing the same thing. They should not be doing that. Let's invent the products first. Then let's create the systems that's going to elevate that product to the global stage. And then when we get to the global stage, we then have to now start competing. Fellas, there are layers to this. I'm just trying to get you to understand. I'm not trying to dissuade you from doing business in Nigeria. I'm not. I'm just trying to show you the challenges and why it's important for you to start creating strategies behind your product. If you're thinking that, oh, because Nigeria has organic, everybody has organic. You can't even certify Nigerian organic foods. That is why a lot of when I advise, I don't want to get into that. When Nigerians come to me, I have organic products. I'm like, which organic product you get? Where is the certification? Don't you know that a governing body has to actually go and certify you organic? Don't you know what it takes to be certified organic? You can't have certain fertilizers. You got to have some sort of like sustainability layer to what you do before you can be truly certified organic. So no, you can't call that product organic because you are not certified organic. You can call it all natural. There's nothing wrong with calling your product all natural. But the moment that you step into that organic realm, you have got to have the certifications. How many Nigerian brand owners have that? Value proposition takes time. It takes repeated, consistent behavior. If you are watching this from Nigeria right now and you are part of the leadership, the government group that wants to push made in Nigerian products, come and talk to me. And I will show you why you are going about it the You may be mixing recognized branding with value proposition. Nigerian, since you brought up Nigerian slippers, what is the expected outcome when you buy Nigerian slippers? Active. It doesn't last. I bought, and maybe my case is an anomaly. I manufactured Nigerian slippers using material from Aba. The sole fell off after wearing it twice. The expected outcome is not there. For you to compete at a global enterprise, isn't that what Nigeria wants? Nigeria would rather be China. With all the workforce that we have, a high percentage of Nigerians are what, between 18 and 34. That's a very young force. We would rather be at least the Chinese version of Africa in manufacturing. But we are not there. I am not seeing the systems. I am not seeing the expected outcomes that's going to make somebody be a repeat customer. That's another thing too. What makes you buy something repeatedly over and over again? Now that that shoe has fallen apart, do you think I'm going to go back and buy that shoe from that person? Active. Have you experienced Nigeria's customer service? Go to Japan. The Japanese are known for their pristine customer service. A Japanese will never hand you something with one hand. They always hand you something with two hands. Even if that product was $1, they will give you the same courtesy as if you bought something that was $100,000. To them, it doesn't matter. It's the same courtesy. It's that Japanese hospitality. That is also part of their value proposition. Japanese hospitality. Nigeria, you go complain, that person will slap you. Who are you to come and be complaining and this? Have you ever tried getting a refund in Nigeria? The moment money exchanges hands in Nigeria is over. There's no such thing as a refund policy in Nigeria. Hey, over here, once money don't cross, because they believe in some supernatural, some superstitious thing, that once money has crossed hands, it shouldn't go back to the original, the other, the person that gave them the money to begin with. So Nigeria doesn't have a refund policy, much less a warranty. Made in Nigeria, my guy, active, is not a value proposition. Tasty Chicken is known for food they make. Okay, I don't know what Tasty Chicken is. I've heard of Crunchies, and I think there was another one that CJ brought up the other day. Nigeria is known for its sweet crude oil. I know now, but we are not talking about crude oil. We're talking about non-oil. We know that Nigeria is known for that. But that is still actually underdeveloped, to be quite frank with you. But we're talking about non-oil products. What are we known for outside of crude oil? I get your frustration with the lack of global recognition, but good marketing scheme makes a product. But you got to market that product over and over and over and over again. You got to keep on repeating that same marketing phrase over and over and over and over again. But we got to invent the product first. Guys, we just don't have that right now. CJ, welcome back. You missed quite a bit. Go back and watch. So I'm just looking at scale. I'm looking at like repeatability of purchases and orders. And I'm also looking at global domain expertise in something. There's a lot that I'm looking at when Nigeria can do something, but just saying that you are a, what do you call it? So what I'm looking for, made in Nigeria alone is going to solve the problem. It's not. This thing showed me today. Where are you guys watching from? What are your questions? What are your questions? Push your questions. Can you export Chicken Republic? You can't export Chicken Republic now. Show me something you can export. Show me a consumer packaged good that you can export. What's up? What's up? Where are you guys watching from? You can't export Chicken Republic. What are your questions? I'm not leaving today until value is delivered. Post your questions. Post your questions. So we need the systems. No, you asked, and I reminded you of the name. Okay, thanks for the reminder. But Chicken Republic is not an exportable product. We need an identity, ladies and gentlemen. We need a product that the world can tie to Nigeria that's not crude oil, petroleum. Dangote cannot be the only brand in Nigeria. Name another brand besides Dangote. I'm not connected to my Zoom, so I cannot share my screen with you guys. But name another brand now that is not a Dangote that Nigeria has. Africa has the same problem, the entire African continent. The world sees Africa as a place they can go and extract metals and extract minerals and extract raw materials. They don't look at Africa beyond that. If the Nigerian crude oil sector were to collapse today, what would Nigeria fall back on? Can somebody tell me? I like comparing Nigeria a lot to the United States of America. You know, we have the aviation sector here. China, with all the rare earth minerals that China has, they still don't have the technological bandwidth to build an airplane. Do you know that? They still depend on Boeing, they depend on Airbus. The Chinese still don't have the technical know-how to build a plane today in 2026. They have all the rare earth minerals in the world. They're actually even stockpiling right now. The Chinese are stockpiling rare earth minerals. Oh, why am I going to use ours when we can just go to Nigeria and buy their own for $1? We got to be known for something, folks. There's no reason why the largest cultivator and producer of yams in the world doesn't have a national yam brand, even a private yam brand, yam chips where I can go in and buy yam, packaged yams and packaged chips where, oh man, this is exportable. Where is it? We have a lot of roadside merchants, but you cannot export roadside products. They don't have the branding behind it, they don't have the systems behind it. And remember, guys, majority of things in Nigeria is still manually done. You cannot compete on the global stage when you are still doing things manually. Where are the systems behind it? We don't have. Nigerian tech guys, they want to develop apps, but they don't even own the technology stack behind those apps. They don't own it. You are leveraging Western technology to build an app and calling yourself a developer. You are not a developer, you are just an app builder. You see now, AI now, if you do that, we are having serious, honest conversations. It's not as if I'm picking on Nigeria, but I'm just saying in 2026, with where the world is going, Nigeria better wake up. Was it okay? Wasn't there another attack today in Kwara State, or is it Benue? Another attack today? It's like every day. Every day there's an attack. Every day there's an attack. Still, CJ said, I just arrived. Any ideas? Go back and watch the playback. I gave some ideas. A good one that I gave, just a quick reminder, is Nigeria produces the largest, we are the largest cultivator of yams in the world, yam tubers. But we don't have a company in Nigeria that makes yam chips. I'm talking about potato chips like we have here in the US and you have in Canada. We don't have that flagship brand in Nigeria that makes yam chips that can be exported to the world. We got to find, what are we known for? What does the country naturally produces besides oil? Yam is one of them. We don't even have the systems today to export yam tubers. And we also don't have the systems back home to process yam tubers at a commercial level, on a commercial scale, into plantain chips that we can export to the world. Can't we be known for that? We are also positioned, we can be known for chocolate because Nigeria produces some of the finest cocoas in the world. When was the last time you saw a Nigerian made chocolate bar? That is done industrially, ladies and gentlemen. In order for you to scale and export, you have got to industrialize. You cannot be in your backyard frying yam chips, bagging it and calling it. It doesn't work like that. You've got to industrialize. We Industrialization is part of systems that Nigeria is missing. Some Nigerian designers, you mean fashion designers? Like who? Who in the world is going to buy a shirt from Nigeria that's made in Nigeria? Have you tried wearing Nigerian fashion? If you have a tailor that's good, let me know. I've largely given up on Nigerian fashion because every time I throw my shirt inside my washer and dryer, maybe they don't manufacture for Westerners. Because over there they tend to wash by hand and they'll dry. But when your shirt is in a washing machine, tumbling and drying, the threads just come off. Fashion isn't something you can do in Nigeria because Italy already has that space. And remember, CJ, we also import all of our textiles. There is no homegrown textile manufacturing company in Nigeria today. Anybody that tells you that they are manufacturing textiles in Nigeria, they're all lying to you. All those textiles are brought in from abroad. All these Nigerian prints that we have that used to make all these native attires that we're wearing, did Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala not say so? Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala went on record and said the outfit that she wears, she looks at where it's made and she said it with her mouth that they are not made in Nigeria. Those fabrics, the tailoring may be done in Nigeria, but the fabric itself needed is not a Nigerian product. CJ said you should do some developmental case studies. Example, Brazil, Singapore, India. A big problem we have is excessive fragmentation. You see, we don't have to be known. I can't disagree with that. We don't have to be known for many things. We just got to be known for one thing. We just got to be known for one thing. Like I said, in meat exports. Singapore isn't Olam a Singaporean company? When was the last time you saw a Nigerian brand overseas? See, Olam comes in from Singapore and then they set up shop in Nigeria. They open Olam Nigeria subsidiary. It's not a Nigerian company, it's a Singaporean company. India leads in scale. India buys a lot. They actually buy a lot of crops from Nigeria and then they'll refine it and sell it to the US at premium. So India, that's what India does. They have the buying power. India also has the population. I think it's like 1 million people in India right now, population of India. Nigeria has fragmentation. Yes, remember you talked about the clusters now, CJ. That cluster that you talked about is part of the issue. It's just pockets and pockets of people doing things. When you try to bring them together, it becomes a problem. You know why I know? Because I've tried doing it. I've tried consolidating clusters in Nigeria. It did not work out. There's an old client of mine that had like a consortium of like cocoa farmers in Cross River State, like 7 different cocoa farmers, and he was trying to bring them all together. And they happened to bring in a foreign buyer to come in and do an assessment and do due diligence on those farms. When the foreign buyer got there, Cocoa Farm 1 had their own price. Cocoa Farm 2 had their own price. Cocoa Farm 3 had their own different price. So much so that they frustrated the buyer, and the buyer ended up returning back where they came from without a deal. Because it's part of that fragmentation. When you're trying to bring people together to agree on one price point, extremely difficult. Because the unity is not there. And greed is also part of the issue too. You must be able to duplicate the quality. That's what we don't have now. We don't have that quality consistency. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. Just made in Nigeria alone is not a value proposition. In order for you to be a repeat buyer of something, CJ, isn't there quality consistency? And also, is that not part of the expected outcome that you want from that product? Because you know that the quality that you're going to get today is going to be the same quality that you're going to get in a year, in 2 years. Nigeria is not like that. We are not standardized in Nigeria. We all honestly don't value quality the way the Western world values quality. And if you think about it, who are some of the buyers of these African products? It's the Western market. Do you really think you can scale an organization or you can scale a brand by selling just in sub-Saharan Africa? I know that right now that they are pushing that whole sub-Saharan Africa thing, that AFTRA thing, let's trade amongst ourselves. Those guys don't have money now. If anything, somebody in Ghana will come to Nigeria and buy something for $1, take it to Ghana, repurpose it, refine it, and sell it for $10 to somebody in the Western world. We don't have the systems in place. The made in Nigeria is not the narrative that we should be pushing right now as a nation. What we ought to be pushing right now as a nation are systems to be able to take the products to a global market. And while you are at the global market, to be able to compete at the global market. I go to a lot of trade shows here. I'm going to one in a couple of, in about a week. I have another trade show in town coming up. I'll be there for 4 days. You're not going to see one Nigerian. See, since you're talking about Nigerian designers, this is the fashion trade show that I'm going to. You are not going to see a single Nigerian there. I have not seen a single Nigerian designer at the Magic Fashion Show. They're one of the largest fashion shows in the world that happens in Vegas twice a year. Never seen a Nigerian designer. You see occasional, what do you call these guys? Ghanaians. But Nigeria is not represented. We are selling the wrong sauce, folks. We are selling the wrong sauce. But you can't have systems, though, without having private sector involvement. Dangote would not have happened if the government was involved. Remember, the government was actually involved. At one point, the government owns 11% of Dangote refinery. And then when Dangote went to them and said, where your money now? We gave you equity. Where is your contribution to the equity? NNPC said, this one pass also. If nothing else, just here, we don't want 11% anymore. Now we only want 5%. And Dangote ended up taking back, 6% of that company. And now NNPC now owns 5% of Dangote, a company that is projected to go to launch its IPO in the fourth quarter of this year and raise north of $200 billion. See how much NNPC lose. So now, guess who Dangote is partnering with? Institution investors, the Honeywells. Those are the guys that are going to get the first dabs. Do you think, SpaceX is about to launch its IPO? SpaceX is going to offer Amazon a deal. They're going to offer Google. They might offer Nvidia some stocks. They have to do institutional IPO first before it reaches the general public. That's how it works. So Dangote could not have done what he did with Dangote. This same Dangote, the Nigerians, and our oil, no be your oil, na Dangote oil. No be your oil, no be your papa oil, na Dangote oil. Because the man puts his investment. Where is the CPG, the consumer packaged goods version of a Dangote Petroleum? We don't have. How many brands, how many CPG brands are in Nigeria right now that's recognizable on a national scale? Let's not even talk local, international, national scale. How many? We don't have. So you see why I'm saying that just saying made in Nigeria it is not a value proposition. It's just a label. It's especially for you people who are trying to move the needle overseas, which is where the money is. Look, don't let anybody fool you. Your wealth is in exports. Your wealth is in exports. It's not in the local market. What can they offer you in the local market in Nigeria? A small 1 ounce crayfish in Nigeria is what, 200 naira? You can sell that same thing here for $10. It's an export. But in order for you to be able to play in the export space, you got to have systems behind your offer, behind your invention, whatever that is. So we used to make this these turning sticks that they used to turn Gary in Nigeria. I know we are moving away from everything else to focus on our crayfish. But let's just say if I were to continue with that particular product, I'm taking it to China for manufacturing, not Nigeria. I conceived the design here. I am a Nigerian entrepreneur. That's enough. I've got to take my manufacturing to a place that has scale. When I say I want 1,000,000 sticks, I get it. Can I say that in Nigeria? It's all about systems. Same as cassava. They are couture designers, not mass markets. That's a very limited space now. They might make a few dollars, but listen, mass market is where it's at. You can choose to go couture all you want to. When we couture comes clientele, you got to have the clientele in place for that couture stuff, and you can't have. You can maybe only, let's say you are a couture designer of these work gloves. In order for you to consider it a couture glove, maybe the most you make is maybe 100, 100, and then you move on from it. But even if you were to say, I'm only making 100, your clients are not going to buy your couture simply because it's made in Nigeria. They're going to buy the couture because they trust you, the designer, and because they trust your quality, and because they trust your price point, and because they have that expected outcome that they want when they wear that couture. This looks good on me. It's because you is who they trust. It's not because it's made in Nigeria. They couldn't care less where it's made in. It's you that they care about. Apple phones are all made in China, but it's conceived in the United States. Do you think the consumer cares where it's made? The consumer cares about the expected outcome of an iPhone. When I pull up my iPhone, it gives me that status feeling. I own an iPhone. For those of you who are into all that stuff, you know you're going to be able to make phone calls. You know that you're going to be able to take pictures and videos of your friends and families. That's the expected outcome. No one is picking up an iPhone because it's made in China. They're picking up an iPhone because they trust Apple. When was the last time you saw Apple pushing, we are made in China, we're made in China? Nigerians want to start pushing, we are made in Nigeria. Nobody cares. Because that identity is tied to uh to the quality of Apple products. So that is what people, when they are buying it, that's the outcome that they are expecting from that product. Has been there consistently since '84, when Steve Jobs launched the first iMac. Since '84. Is that not what 50 years ago? 40 years? My mind, my math is kind of off right now, but do the math now. We should focus on optimizing agri-export. The fabrics are from Indonesia. The fabrics are from Indonesia. They're from Pakistan. They're from Ghana. I'm sorry if they're from someplace. Sometimes even China. Those fabrics are not Nigerian fabrics. All you guys who are buying fabric stuff like that, they are not Nigerian-made fabrics. They are made abroad and imported into Nigeria. But why didn't they talk to each other? Who is that? Dangote be my papa. Dangote not be my papa. Oh. Dangote is doing well. Again, we just need guys. We just need more. We need more sectors outside the oil and gas sector. Honestly, and the Nigerian government that's pushing this Made in Nigeria program, I feel like they are just pushing the wrong things. We need to focus more on systems. We got to be known for something that the world wants to buy. When people are sitting there thinking about, where am I going to source the next? If Hershey's sitting there thinking, where am I going to source the next cocoa for my chocolate bars? They are not thinking about Nigeria. They're thinking about Ghana. They're thinking about Cote d'Ivoire. Because those guys, they have domain expertise in cocoa cultivation. Another thing too is, sometimes, like I said earlier, you have to train the market on the product that you are bringing in. That takes decades and patience. Do we have that? We don't have that. What other questions you guys have? All you importers and exporters, what questions do you have? I told you guys today, I'm not leaving until value is delivered. The cocoa farmers that your friend tried to gather, explain training the market. Good question. So Training the market is what? You just have to educate them on what you are selling and the outcome that they expect from what you are selling. It takes time. And it takes time through repeated branding, repeated marketing, and also repeated continuity of quality. So you are basically inventing a product, and then you got to create the consumer base for that product, and then you got to educate them on why they should buy that product. Sometimes that's just what you have to do. These things take time. I think largely Nigerians are expecting there to be some sort of a miracle. We're just going to land and then we're going to. It takes time for you to be, because think about it, your competition is doing it. When you think of ads, all these nations that are running advertisements, all these products that are constantly running advertisement. Let me tell you something. Who is the number one advertiser on earth? Is it not Coca-Cola? Coca-Cola is the number one advertiser. They spend billions in advertising every year. If Coca-Cola stopped advertising today, Pepsi is going to take over. So they can't afford to stop. It's the most globally recognized brand on earth. Coca-Cola. Do the research. But they can't afford to stop branding. They can't afford to stop partnerships. They can't afford to stop being at grocery stores. They cannot. Because the moment that they take the foot off the grass or off the gas, Pepsi is going to take over that spot. So it's not just, that's what I'm telling you guys. You telling me that something is made in Nigeria. There's no solution. But what is the problem that you are solving by saying that you are made in Nigeria? You are not solving any problem. But if I'm buying a pair of Italian made shoes, the problem that they are solving for me is I may not buy another pair of shoes for another 20 years because I know that that shoe is going to last me a long time. Nigeria now that's partnering with US for technological and military support. Do you think that they're doing it because they like Donald Trump? They are doing it because the United States helps to solve their problems. If it was Russia that had better technology or UAE, they will go to those ones. It's the people that solves your problems that you're going to go with. Do you think you must be able to sell a product successfully in Nigeria before you can export? It's advisable because you got to prove the concept first. You got to prove local demand first before you can go abroad. You see, in our case, we did it a little bit differently. Before we expanded, we proved local demand here in the US first. We went through farmers markets, we did a little bit of that before we actually invested a lot of money in branding. We tested it organically first. But if you are based in Nigeria there, looking to export overseas, it's advisable for you to test local demand there first. Test your branding, test the need. Like I told you guys the other day, if you have, let's say, food ingredients, you want to reach out to chefs at local hotels where you live. Preferably, you want to go with like 3-star hotels and up. So you pick like the Four Seasons Hotel in Ikoyi, or you pick Eco Hotel, or you pick, let's say, Federal Palace Hotel. Get to know those chefs, the ones that are cooking, and then offer them a batch of your spices for their soups. If you are a Gary, so there was a point that when we were manufacturing Gary, we actually came very close to partnering with Ibom Icon Resorts in one of the top resorts in Akwa Ibom State. We met with the general manager, then we met with the chef. I sent my team there. All this was done remotely from here. Then we met with the chef, but we just couldn't agree on pricing. That was how the deal fell apart. They were willing to try our product, but they were offering us the price they were offering to buy our gari was less than it was costing us to manufacture it. So you know what the guy told me? He said, he said, we just go to Bendel or we go to Cross River State and just buy their stuff. I was trying to explain to them, hey, listen, our gari is hand fried, our gari is locally sourced, our gari. I was trying. We don't want to hear all that story. Our own is just mostly price related. So that was how that deal fell apart because the offer that they gave us was less than what it cost us to make the product, much less breaking even and turning a profit. So that deal fell apart. So again, you're going to struggle. I should probably say that right now because most of these hotels in Nigeria, they're very price sensitive. They're very tight on their budget. So if you're trying to go there, trying to sell them a premium item, they may walk away. If they can go to Oshodi Market and buy crayfish for 200 naira, why would they come and buy your own for 1,000 naira? That's another challenge you have to. That's why I'm telling you guys, export is where it's at. But if you can prove a little bit of market demand locally there in Nigeria, you should probably think about doing that. But then for those who are already based abroad, you don't have that luxury to test locally. But what I would recommend and advise is maybe you bring in small quantities at a time, small batches at a time, before you go full in. You can import a small quantity of whatever product it is that you are manufacturing in Nigeria, and then you test that product locally in the country that you are domiciled and see if there's demand there. Another thing too you are going to learn is sales. You are going to learn very, very fast if that product is a product that you enjoy selling and that you enjoy interacting with. I know some of you want to sell palm oil. The moment you touch palm oil, you go cry. What's up, baby? Excuse me. What fleece sheet? How long have you been sleeping on that? So, oh, like new? You want to put new ones? Is that it? That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. The warm is fine, babe. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, yeah, it's important, and one of the another problem too, CJ, is the export program in Nigeria. There, those guys are mostly tailored to bigger exporters. Like they want you to commit to a container load before they can even take you seriously. A lot of Nigeria's export programs don't really cater to micro exporters. You understand what I mean? And probably 99% of Nigerian exporters are micro exporters, meaning they can't afford to export a container load of product. They don't have a letter of credit line with a bank. They don't have any of that. So the advantage that we have abroad is we don't have to play that game. So if you're thinking about making any kind of product in Nigeria, again, think twice too, because you are not going. I'm telling you, I've been in a manufacturing space for 22 years. You are not going to be able to scale manufacturing in Nigeria. You can scale processing, but you are not going to be able to scale manufacturing in Nigeria. At one point, you're going to have to take your manufacturing to China. Unfortunately. But it all depends on what you're trying to do. Do you want to be $1 million brand, or do you just want to just be a mom and pop? It depends on what you are focused on and what you're trying to optimize for. But in order for you to be a multi-million-dollar brand, you're going to need sales, you're going to need velocity, you're going to need scale. You just can't have that in Nigeria, unfortunately. Unless if you were to find, let's say, a Chinese company based in Nigeria there that can manufacture your products there for you in Nigeria. Just so you can say it's made in Nigeria and is manufactured there, but you're probably going to get a better, well, anyway, especially now with the tariffs though. With the tariffs right now, you see a lot of Chinese factories right now opening up shops in Nigeria is because they're trying to bypass the US tariffs on Chinese origin products. So they'll open factories. China has the money. They're doing the same thing in Mexico right now. They'll open factories in Mexico. They'll send all of their raw supplies to the factory in Mexico. They'll put everything there together. It's all Chinese backend. But because it's processed and assembled in Mexico, it qualifies as a made in Mexico product. And in that way, if the US has leveled 100% tariffs on China, maybe the Mexican tariff might be 10%. You see, the Chinese, they have the scale to be able to do that. It's the same thing that's happening across Africa right now. When you see a lot of Chinese companies now are setting up shop in Ghana, they're setting up shop in Nigeria. Part of the reason is to be able to bypass US tariffs. Now, once Trump's administration goes away in the next 3 years, see, the Chinese can play this game. You see, Donald Trump has the watch, but the Chinese have the time. So they can wait him out. The United States president has the watch, but China has the time. So they'll just wait him out, do what they have to do just to stay relevant in the time being by setting up shop. But then once another regime comes in that's more favorable to China as far as like tariffs goes, they'll just close up all of their shop in Nigeria and move back to China. That is why I've been advocating for Nigeria to build its own systems. These so-called foreign direct investments that we're doing right now, we are basically bringing international companies to Nigeria right now to come and build products in Nigeria using international systems. And then when those companies go away, what do? They take their systems with them. They take their workforce with them. And then they leave Nigerians holding the bag. That's usually how it works. CJ said, do you think, no, I've answered that already. It's funny, I never thought about having to enjoy selling the product. Very, very important. If you don't love what you are selling, how can you convince somebody else to buy it? Come on now, think about it for a second. You got to love what you're selling. So you see some people, they'll come in, I want to sell ogbono. I want to, listen, me, I don't sell ogbono before. I don't like touching it. It's very, very sticky. It's very, very gummy. Same thing with palm oil. Baby, did we like selling palm oil? Wasn't it messy? Palm oil is messy. See why if the water, she's off today. Why if the water or the water?
A couple days ago, actually, because I noticed that this was so.
This thing eats a lot of.
Start watering it every day, babe.
No, we can't do.
You can
We
water
can't.
plants every day.
We can't do it every day.
You can't water.
So it
every day.
not in the.
You can water your
No, not in the wintertime. We are only zoned for once a week in the winter, babe. Only in the summer. Okay. I should do all the watering now. Where's my cigar? Let me sit and smoke my cigar. Where's your questions? Where are your questions? CJ, you got to love what you are selling, no. You got to love what you are selling. Everybody wants to export, but they don't realize that sales comes with exporting. What's tomorrow's topic? I don't know. I don't have an idea yet. What would you like me to cover? What do you want me to cover? Hmm? I don't know what I want to say, what I want to talk about tomorrow. Maybe we'll talk about some current Nigerian news tomorrow now. Export quality. This thing, I'm telling you, CJ, I have this thing that's in my thing right now. He's saying, what kind of soup? Afang. I've answered it now, but then it doesn't want to go away. Export quality. That one is an easy topic. I don't need a whole podcast for that now. I don't need a whole podcast for that. Mm-hmm. I don't need a whole podcast to talk about export quality. Your packaging has to be right. Depending on the products, I can talk about it right now. Depending on what you want to sell. Remember, if you're importing any sort of food products into the United States, including, let's say, body cream, cosmetic items, you can't make claims on those items if you don't have clinical proof. So you can't say, oh, this body cream that I'm bringing in cures acne, or you can't make those claims without clinicals. The FDA is going to flag you immediately. You can say all natural, but you cannot say organic without organic certification. So remember, for those of you who are in the United States, you want to, or even, again, I don't know what the system is like in Canada, CJ, but based on if you're in the US here, you have to have your establishment registered with the FDA, the US Food and Drug Administration. So our facility here, when we registered, they came to inspect our facility. I was so nervous when FDA called and said they were coming. I was so nervous because I didn't know what to expect. So Kate and I sat and we talked. And the thing about it, guys, is the FDA just doesn't show up to your facility. They will notify you that they are coming. Ladies and gentlemen, pay attention to what I'm telling you. Pay attention to what I'm telling you. If you're in the US, if you've been in import export long enough, eventually you are going to appear on the radar of the FDA. If you've been doing this long enough. And what they're going to do is they're going to call you, and almost always, it's when you are bringing an item into the country, it will be flagged. Then they are going to call you and say, hey, we would like to come inspect your facility. And then they are going to ask you, when is a good time? You see, those guys, they know what they're doing. They want to put the burden on you. When is a good time that we can come? Usually within about a week or so, it's probably the most that they'll give you. But they at least let you make the time. I remember when they called me and said they were coming to inspect. I was so scared. I didn't know. I was so scared. You know what I did? What Kate said was, Kate said, that's why, man, it's good to marry a good wife, Sha. Kate said, Rich, just be yourself and be honest. And I'm like, okay, no problem. So the day of the appointment, I dressed up in a nice suit because you don't get a second chance to make a first impression. I dressed up in a nice suit. They sent their agent. I met them at the gate, welcomed them in, introduced myself. My name is Ray. I had all my documentation, all my licenses ready. They came and then they said, so what is it that you import from Nigeria? And, oh, well, we import mostly flavor, like flavor seasonings, like crayfish. At that time, we were also doing salt. We were also doing like black pepper at that time, ogbono. We did, man, we were SKU heavy at that time. I think we were about like 24 different SKUs when FDA came to inspect the facility. So the guy came in, they walked in, they looked at the place, and they walked into my office that you see behind me here. They looked at everything, and the guy probably must have stayed maybe a half hour. And then he said, okay, we'll get back to you. And I mean, at the end of the meeting, I thought I did well. And then 2 or 3 days later, they sent me an email and said, Rich Mberiket, you are good to go with your operation. Good luck with your business. So that was what happened. So yeah, FDA wise, if you're in the food space, you have to establish, register your business with them. As far as like quality is concerned, again, it kind of depends on what you are trying to sell. What specifically are you looking at importing, CJ? Current topics in Nigeria is great. No problem. I'm not in front of my laptop, otherwise I'll pull up some things. But yeah, I can pull up what's happening in Nigeria right now. We can talk about it. No, you guys like that. At some point though this week, I also want to talk about US side, what's happening on the US side. I like deals. I like looking at business transactions, like which company is buying which companies. I like looking at IPOs, like which companies are launching IPOs. So like things like that is what I love. I'm not importing. I've shifted focus. Good for you. Good for you. Importing is hard, especially if you don't control your supply chain. It can drive you crazy. And manufacturing in Nigeria, I'm telling you now, if you have an idea to make something right now, don't manufacture that product in Nigeria. Just take that idea, go to China. They have the skill to manufacture there. If you want to do this for the long term and you want to guarantee your quality, Nigeria can't give you that. I'm sorry. I've been in this space now for 22 years. Nigeria is not going to give you the manufacturing quality you need to be able to succeed in a global marketplace. I'm sorry. It's just not going to happen. Okay. So 97 minutes. Any other questions? Any other questions? Ah, man, I'm telling you, this orientation pissed me off because I wasn't looking at doing the vertical. I was looking at doing the horizontal this thing. Let's see. No, I don't want that. It's not what I want. That's not what I want. Did you finish I Show Speed? For where? I got caught up in watching the Super Bowl. So I didn't finish I Show Speed. It's 3:40 right now. I think once I'm done, I'm probably gonna watch another hour or so. I Show Speed in Nigeria. That guy, do you see me? Do you see me? That guy wanted $10,000. I Show Speed offered him one key. The guy, I don't think what ended up happening. I think I missed that whole part. How did he end up leaving? I have to go and rewind it to see how they got rid of him. But they got rid of that guy somehow. Now, you see, Nigeria is all about somebody like that. Think about it, CJ, for a second. You are in a ride with I Show Speed for God knows how long. That guy must have been with I Show Speed for what, 20 minutes? Why didn't that man ask for a job? Why didn't he ask for a job? He has the body of a security guy. You understand what I mean? Somebody like that. Guys, when you are opportuned to be in close proximity to somebody that could potentially change your life, ask for an opportunity. Don't ask for money. I Show Speed asked him, what do you want? The idiot said he wanted $10,000 when he could have said, I Show Speed, I need a job. Long term. At the end of the day, did they not dispose of him? Nigeria and money. It's always like money, money, money. Ask for a job. Ask for an opportunity. Don't worry about what you can eat today. Worry about how you can eat 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 years from now. So I thought that guy missed an opportunity to get a job. Not saying that I show speed would have hired him, but at least he would have showed some character. And I know those security guys are probably hired there locally in Nigeria. I don't think he's traveling the world with them. Doesn't he just go CJ country to country and then utilize the I know he has his own crew from abroad, but I think he uses local security there, doesn't he? Where are you guys watching from? Welcome in. Welcome in. But CJ, importing is good though. I know you are doing something in Nigeria there, but remember everything that you do in Nigeria, you are only limited to Nigerian demographic. Yeah, I know he has like his core security guys, but I think they also lease or hire security agents there locally in Nigeria. Yeah. So CJ, whatever you are doing, remember benchmark your Nigerian investment for an international clientele. So if you are building a condo or you are building your Airbnb, just make sure that you are designing it for a Western audience. So that means your AC has to be on point, your plumbing has to be on point, the courtyard has to be on point, the overall experience. You've got to have high-speed internet, you've got to have 24/7 generator. Benchmark your Nigerian investment for an international clientele. That's how you are going to be able to recoup your investments. If you think you're going to recoup your investments catering to local Nigerians, there you are going to be in for a rude awakening. Don't cater to local Nigerians. It's not your job. You are an investor. Man, CJ, I was looking at my holdings. Yeah, hey, I was looking at my portfolio yesterday. Man, guys, get to the point where your money starts working for you. Like your money just starts working for you. That's why investing in US stocks and index funds is I want last week it was this amount. Yesterday it was this amount. And I did nothing. Didn't touch it. Yeah. So I know what I saw and suffered before I went in September. So you are as your name says. Yes, now I don't want to make a comment on the suffer. I work for my own business. I work for myself. I work for myself. I used to have a lot of Nigerian-based clients, but I stopped catering to that demographic. Now most of my demo they are internationally based. You know. Yeah, Nigerian demographic is more volume based. International demographic is I don't you see, I would rather have 5 clients than to have 500. I would rather have 5 clients abroad than to have 500 clients in Nigeria. Because una too stress. Nigerians are just they don't really understand how this whole thing works. But people abroad, international, they know. That's just it, man. Like I said, I work for myself. We have a very successful Amazon business. We are also on Walmart. And then right now, like I said, we are getting rid of all of our skills to focus on our crayfish brand. We want to be the world's leading crayfish brand. Believe you me when I say that. When people are thinking umami flavor, seafood flavor, I also want Mbarikets to be at the top of their head and the tip of their tongue. So as a result, we pulled out of other product lines, and now we are focusing just on our crayfish brand right now, which we are going to be attending trade shows. I'm going to be taking the crayfish on the national trade show circuit. because I want to get into Amazon. I want to get into these local grocery chains. I want to get into Walmart. We also want to start doing private label where we are manufacturing and processing crayfish for other brands. And I can't do that if I have distractions. So I got to be laser focused on what we want to do with the crayfish brand. Also, at some point, we are going to be changing our crayfish packaging because I want to move away. I want to go to China and source a different packaging. Let me show you guys the packaging that we have. Current packaging that we have. Yeah. So there's a lot that we want to do that has to be we want to just be laser focused on what we are offering. So this is the current 1 ounce Berke crayfish right now. That's the front. And that's the back. So it says here imported from Nigeria, packed in the USA. I don't know if you guys can see that. Imported from Nigeria, packed in the USA. So this is the current packaging. This is our brand. This is what we are focusing all of our attention on right now. So the packaging is going to be changing at some point. But for now, this works. So I took this to the Walmart Summit in August, and they loved it at Walmart. And the lady just said, Rich, you sell more, and then we can talk. So I'll be going back to the Walmart Summit again, August of this year. See, those are the sort of conversations we want to be having with the buyers of you know what I mean, of these large chains. So I can't do that if I am distracted, if I'm selling suya spice and all this. I just want to be a one product, one SKU, one price brand right now. Are you selling to Asia? We are not currently selling to Asia, but that is on the radar. I know the Chinese, they consume a lot of umami flavors. So China is actually a good market for us as well. China is a good market for us. But in order for us to be able to penetrate the Chinese markets, the only way we can do that is by attending trade shows, like food-based trade shows. China, I have a Chinese visa now. Actually, it expires in November of this year. My Chinese visa expires November, so I got to get it renewed. But yeah, all of that is in our future as far as like where we want to take the brand. That is why it's important for us to narrow down on one product. I want to get this to $1 million in the next 24 months in sales. That's my goal. I want this brand to be a multi-million-dollar brand before I introduce another product. That's why everything else is going away. My goal is to get this to $1 million in 24 months. Looks inviting, yes. So I told you guys, now I have a creative background. I conceived this and designed this myself. I'm telling you, gift size. Most people just buy this as a gift and then they'll gift it out to, because I mean, in the United States right now, there's this thing called Donald Trump's MAHA, Make America Healthy Again. It's this national program right now, Make America Healthy Again. So a lot of food brands right now, everybody's going all natural. And our stuff is all natural, no additives, no artificial anything in there. And it's something that people can buy and gift out to people. You know what I mean? You can pack it easily. When I used to travel, when I was on the road, when I used to work for Walmart, I was in a project manager doing store transformations, merchandising and all that stuff. I took this on the road with me all the time because I used to be gone 3 weeks out of every month. I miss my family. It was, man, I made a lot of money, but it did not substitute fatherhood. business class, some of the finest hotels you can imagine, guys. I had my own corporate credit card. What didn't I do? Hotel lounges. They know me finish. They know me finish for American Express Centurion Lounge, Delta Sky Lounge. They know me finish. You get me? But you gotta have your own thing going on, man. Mr. Neboff, Afang is the best. Afang, welcome, Mr. Neboff. Are you on Akwa Ibom night? I see it on the shelves. It would attract my attention. Exactly. That's the point now. $1 million, the $1 million brand in 24 months. 3 weeks in a month. Yes, now. It was it started at what 17 days and then it went to 21 days. Try doing that while try to raise a family. Why change the packaging? I want a packaging that you can actually it's like this little containers where you can actually just kind of they say this one I would have to scoop it with scoop it with a spoon. So if it was in a container, like a small size container, you can just kind of put this in your food like this. Because I just don't use this in soups. I also use it on my eggs. I use it on my literally everyday meal. Plantain, babe, are we having plantains? Baby, babe, are we having plantains tonight? So she got arrange plantains now for your boy. So yeah, I just put her for my plantain. So we'll see, but I like this is convenient because you can slap this easily in a briefcase. You can put it away nice. I can also pour, CJ, is what I've been doing. I pour also from it. Maybe I'm just overthinking this, but this is a good solid packaging. You get me? Good solid packaging. And it's light, easy to ship. For you guys, CPG, merchandising. I like how flat it is. Okay, CJ, but you see, this is how you do. See, market research on live. I love you guys. So CJ, maybe I'll just keep it the way it is. I don't think you need to change it. So I listen to my viewers and my customers. So that's the objective. Listen, this has $1 million written all over it. There's nothing out there. You see, you guys, Nigerians, other Nigerians that are selling crayfish, they always try to sell bulk. Americans don't care about that bulk rubbish. They just care about small items that they can put in their pantry, go about their business. And let me tell you, CG, customers, they will buy 10 at a time. 10 at a time. Can you take it to a local Asian store? So we don't want to do consignments, CJ. We don't want to do that. If any store is going to carry our products, they just have to buy outright from us and carry it. We don't want to do consignments. But I wouldn't be opposed to going and pitching the product to, let's say, the general manager of an Asian store. We want to be in as many stores. We want to start building accounts, national grocery chain accounts. But the fastest way to do that is you have to exhibit at a trade show. And this is an easily exhibitable product. We can exhibit this easily. It doesn't have a perforated edge, but it has, you see this little line here, you can cut this. And then it can zip itself. There's like a zip lock there where you can just kind of zip it easy. So sealing, it stays fresh at all times. Why not make yeah. Okay, I meant to test the Asian market a bit. It's a possibility. I'm not opposed to it. The cool thing about this crayfish is when people experience it, they love it, and then they come back for more. That's the whole point. It's a very, very small, manageable, package. What's up, Nelly? What's happening? Make a show now. Waiting kids buy for 99 cents. So show people. Hold on, let me show you. Nelly, mommy bought you this Daffy Duck outfit. Step back, let them see. Come here. See, this is 99 cents.
And mommy got me this outfit. And also Jeanette paper.
You gotta speak louder. Be confident
And
like your daddy.
pink and mommy gave the purple one to Alma, and when Jeanette takes the purple one off, I can have the purple one again.
All right. Thank you, Nelly. I appreciate it. Love you. Come back in like 5 minutes. So the shelving is something that we have to design in, because something like this needs to be in its own little box, like a perforated box, right? And then it sits on it, maybe in a pack of 12 active. In a pack of 12, it sits in that perforated box, and then you can take it out individually. We don't want to hang this on a hook. It's not going to work on a hook. It needs to be in its own package, in its own box. So then that way you take one out, there's another one, you take that one out, there's another one. That's how we plan on doing it when we start going the trade show route. Thank you. Yes, Kate went to Aldi's today and then found them on sale for 99 cents per outfit. So she ended up spending about $20, and we bought some from some of our friends and some of my nieces and nephews on my wife's side. So these kids are gonna be getting some pajamas or something for 99. I couldn't believe it when she told me 99 cents is what she paid. Hey, Nelly, is Jeanette there? Jeanette, tell her to come and show people her thing. Is she still wearing her outfit? Jeanette, come here. I want you guys to see what Jeanette is wearing. Hurry up, Jean Grey. Hurry up. Don't fall. Don't run. Don't. Just walk fast. Is this a pair? Babe, come here. Come see. Come show them your outfit. What can I see waiting Jeanette do? Step back, baby. This is also 99 cents. Oh, Jin. All right. What are you doing? You want to roast s'mores? Maybe after dinner. After dinner, we'll roast s'mores. After dinner, they want roast s'mores for this fire pit. Make a show at this fire pit. So I have to light this up later. With that wood there, I'm almost running out. This is all the stock that I have left. So I'll burn up some. You see the flight path? I told you guys to leave me a flight path now. Here, rain. Okay. All that, flight path. Mm-hmm. 99 cents deal. Let me ask, do you guys like this vertical format? The only drawback is I won't be able to share my screen with you guys. If you guys like this vertical format, let me know and I'll try and keep it going. Otherwise, I think tomorrow I may just go back to my computer. Yes. So no. We sell on Amazon US, but Canadians can buy okay. Canadians can buy from Amazon US and get it shipped to Canada. Same thing with Amazon Mexico as well. So we do Amazon US, Amazon Mexico, Amazon Brazil, and Amazon Canada. So Amazon has a way of getting the products cross-border to Canada. So if the vertical is fine, then I suppose we'll stick to the vertical for a while. But I'm just not going to be able to share my screen unless I have something important I want to share. I'll do the screen. Otherwise, you can just stick with the vertical. I also like it too because I can move around, so I'm not stuck in the office. But yeah, so tomorrow let's talk Nigeria. Tomorrow, pull up some news we can talk about tomorrow. Nigeria has got Omotola no well though. CJ, you know Omotola Ikehinde, whatever that. She know well. Did you hear what Omotola said? She said that there should be somebody, the Nigerian leader should be willing to die for Nigeria. Why she should not go die for Nigeria? Yeah. She is not serious. She is not serious. She said that Nigerian leaders, like real Nigerian leaders, should be willing to die for Nigeria. Haven't they done that in the past? All those founding fathers. That's what I'm saying now. Will she die for Nigeria? She's telling somebody's dad to go and die for that country. Will she? Omotola that's married to a foreign pilot lives a life of luxury, talking about people should go and die for Nigeria. Would you die for Nigeria today? Do your best. Nigeria will be a place where you will die for. Do what you can do. And when the time comes, when you tire, when you raise your hand and say you no do again, waka comot. Nigeria will be a place where you be Pacific go die for. She's a Nollywood girl now. Active. She's a Nollywood actress. Omotola. Let's look her up. Telling somebody to go and die for Nigeria. Nigeria not the country where people they go die for. That's why they tell all these youths that are going out doing all these dubious things, going out there and dying for Peter Obi and dying for Atiku and dying for Tinubu. Listen, you be fool. They'll come and hire you, turn you guys into thugs. Come and do this. You'll be fool. Nigeria is not a place where you can go. The military is there for a reason. Obviously, they took an oath to protect people, but as far as like normal, regular citizens, don't go and give your life for Nigeria. People die for that in the US now. Of course now. That's why I don't take me. I served. I could have it could have gone the other way for me. But our founding fathers died for Nigeria. I think enough people have died for Nigeria. What we need to do is to keep people alive so they can change Nigeria. We don't need any more dead people in Nigeria. We don't need it. Let's keep them alive so they can see what the rest of the world sees. Niger is not the giant of Africa because South Africa has more money than Nigeria. So I don't know which metric that they're measuring when they are saying Nigeria is the giant of Africa. South Africa has more money than us. So go do your part and just see what happens. But Nigeria, if push comes to shove, waka komoto. Population that only what, CJ? Okay. $285 billion GDP. Divide that by 230 million people. So the economic output of every Nigerian right now is only about $1,200 per capita. Is that what you call a giant of Africa? It makes no sense. Tunisia makes more money per capita than Nigeria. This guy, what do you call it? Egypt, South Africa, their per capita is also higher than Nigeria. So Nigeria is just, to be honest with you, if the economic value of every Nigerian back home is only $1,200, guess what the per capita of USA is, CJ? $85,000. for one person. Nigeria 1,200 for one person. China is the second at $15,000 per capita. I don't know what Canada is. You know, I don't know what Canada is per capita. I can't look it up right now. All right, 2 more questions and then we'll go. What's up, Nelly? You see, when they need me, then that's when they start running over. Look at your eyes. You're so tired, Nelly. Oh, but this guy like microphone, though. What else you want to say? You like say hi, CJ.
Hi, CJ.
You like microphone, though. All right, Nelly, that is going to wrap up this podcast, okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just
Wait, USA, yes, now it's a 5K versus China is 15K per capita per person. Yep, that's right. Yeah. Nelly, give me my mic.
No.
CJ, say hi. What do you mean no? Did you play soccer today? I took you guys to go and play soccer today.
No.
Thank you. She does. Jeanette looks more like me. Nelly looks more like mommy. You went to play soccer today, oh, Nelly. You went to tap soccer.
Playground.
You went to the playground to tap soccer. She's tired. Nelly bug. Nelly, Daddy has to go. Daddy has to end the podcast.
No, I want to end the podcast.
Okay, you want to end the podcast?
Yes.
Okay, then say see you tomorrow, everybody.
See you tomorrow, everybody.
All right, you guys, thank you. I'll schedule some.
Goodbye.
Okay, well, give me my mic then.
No, on me.
Give me my mic, man.
On me.
Give me my mic, man.
I want it on me.
All right, guys, we'll talk to you guys tomorrow. All right. See ya.